हम सीधे रुख करते हैं नई दिल्ली के विज्ञान भवन का, जहां प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी नीति आयोग के पहले ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग इंडिया व्याख्यान माला कार्यक्रम में शिरकत कर रहे हैं और हम आपको सीधे विज्ञान भवन लिए चलते हैं।
And the cabinet ministers who are attending this first in a series of lectures that has been organized by NITI Ayog. As the Prime Minister arrives here at the plenary hall, being greeted by his cabinet colleagues, as he takes his seat along with the first speaker,
ladies and gentlemen, we in NITI Ayog view knowledge building and knowledge sharing as key catalyst for transformation of India and the states. Today is the inauguration of the NITI lecture series. This exercise is based on the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister to make India a nation of ideas and innovations. We are greatly honored to have the Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore as our keynote speaker. We are greatly honored to have our Honorable Prime Minister to inaugurate this series. I have great pleasure in requesting Dr. Arvind Panagaria, Vice Chairman NITI Ayog, to formally welcome this august gathering.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore, Chief Ministers, Council of Ministers, senior officials of the Government of India, and dignitaries. It is a privilege and indeed great pleasure for me to welcome you all to this first Transforming India lecture. The series is being launched on the advice and under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister, who, as you all know, is also the chairman of the NITI Ayog. The Prime Minister has often said that the time for incremental change is now past us. Instead, the time has come for a big jump. This lecture series is meant to contribute to that objective. Under our Prime Minister, India is poised to transform itself in a major way. This transformation must be driven by well thought out policies and programs. We cannot afford to make mistakes. This is why discussions such as the one we will be having today are extremely important. Equally, it has been our endeavor at the NITI Ayog to build the institution into a think tank, as Prime Minister's original conception was. The event we are having today and others like it in the forthcoming months are a step in this direction. It is my hope that the Honorable Prime Minister will be enlightening us further on the philosophy behind the lecture series, since after all, it has been conceived by him. Therefore, let me limit myself to describing how we shall conduct the proceedings today. We will first have the Honorable Prime Minister deliver his remarks. This will be followed by the keynote address by Honorable Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore, Sri Tharman Shanmugaratnam. Following the keynote address, we will have a panel discussion that I will moderate. After about 35 minutes of interaction among panelists, we'll open the discussion to the audience. At that stage, DPM Singapore, Mr. Shanmugaratnam will also join the panelists on this stage. The open discussion will be followed by a 10-minute summary by the Deputy Prime Minister. We'll conclude the event with a vote of thanks by the CEO NITI Ayog. With these introductory remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to request our great dynamic Prime Minister to take the stage and enlighten us with his remarks. Thank you.
His Excellency Sri Tharman Shanmugaratnam, Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore, my fellow ministers, chief ministers, invited speakers, and friends. There was a time when development was believed to depend on the quantity of capital and labor. Today we know that it depends as much on the quality of institutions and ideas. Early last year, a new institution was created, namely the National Institution for Transforming India, or NITI. NITI was created as an evidence-based think tank to guide India's transformation. One of NITI's functions is to mainstream external ideas into government policies. Through collaboration with national and international experts, to be the government's link to the outside world, outside experts and practitioners, to be the instrument through which ideas from outside are incorporated into policy making. The government of India and the state governments have a long administrative tradition. This tradition combines indigenous and external ideas from India's past. This administrative tradition has served India well in many ways. Above all, it has preserved democracy and federalism, unity and integrity in a country of glorious diversity. These are not small achievements, yet we now live in an age where change is constant and we are variables. We must change for both external and internal regions. Each country has its own experiences, its own resources, and its own strengths. 30 years ago, a country might have been able to look inward and find its own solutions. Today, countries are interdependent and interconnected. No country can afford any longer to develop in isolation. Every country has to benchmark its activities to global standards or else fall behind. Change is also necessary for internal regions too. The younger generation in our own country is thinking and aspiring so differently that government can no longer afford to remain rooted in the past. Even in the families, the relationship between the young and old has changed. There was a time when elders in a family knew more than those who were younger. Today, with the spread of new technology, the situation is often reversed. This increases the challenges for government in communicating and meeting rising expectations. If India is to meet the challenge of change, Mere incremental progress is not enough. A metamorphosis is needed. That is why my vision for India is rapid transformation, not gradual evolution. The transformation in India cannot happen without a transformation of governance. A transformation of governance cannot happen without a transformation in mindset. A transformation in mindset cannot happen without transformative ideas. We have to change laws, eliminate unnecessary procedures, speed up processes, and adopt technology. We cannot march through the 21st century with the administrative system of the 19th century. Fundamental changes in administrative mindsets usually occur through sudden shocks or crises. India is fortunate to be a stable democratic polity. In the absence of such shocks, we have to make special efforts to force ourselves to make transformative changes. As individuals, we may absorb new ideas by reading books or articles. Books open the windows of our minds. However, unless we brainstorm collectively, ideas remain confined to individuals' mind. We often hear of new ideas and understand them, but we do not act upon them because it is beyond our individual capacity. If we sit together, we will have the collective force to convert ideas into action. What we need is a collective opening of our minds to let in new global perspectives. To do this, we have to absorb new ideas collectively rather than individually. It requires a concentrated effort. As many of you know, ever since taking office, I have personally participated in structured brainstorming sessions with bankers, with police officers, and with secretaries to the government. The ideas coming from those sessions are being incorporated into policy. These efforts have been to tap ideas from inside. The next step is to bring in ideas from outside. Culturally, Indians have always been receptive to ideas from elsewhere. It is said in the Rig Veda, Ano Badraha Kritvo Yantu Vishwataha, which means let us welcome noble thoughts flowing in from all directions. This is the purpose of the Transforming India lecture series. It is a series which we will attend not as individuals, but as a part of a team who can collectively make change happen. We will draw the best from the wisdom and knowledge of eminent persons who change or influence change in the lives of many to make their nation a better place in the planet. This structure will be the first in series. You have all been given a feedback form. I look forward to your detailed and frank feedback to help us improve this process. I request you to suggest names of experts and panelists from inside and outside India. I also request all secretaries to government to conduct a follow-up discussion in a week's time with the participants from their ministries. The purpose is to convert ideas that emerged in today's session into specific action points relevant to each group. Whenever possible, I request the ministers also to participate in these sessions. One of the greatest reformers and administrators of our time was Lee Kuan Yew, who transformed Singapore to what it is today. It is therefore fitting that we are inaugurating this series with Sri Tharman Shanmugaratnam, Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore. He is a prolific scholar and public policy maker. Apart from being Deputy Prime Minister, he is also the coordinating Minister for Economic and Social Policies, Minister of Finance and Chairman of Monitoring Authority of Singapore. In the past, he has served as the Minister of Manpower, Second Minister of Finance and Minister of Education. Sri Shanmugaratnam was born in 1957 and is of a Sri Lankan Tamil ancestry. He earned his bachelor's degree in economics at the London School of Economics. He has a master's degree in economics from Cambridge University. He has another master's degree in public administration from Harvard University. At Harvard, he was honored with the Lietover Fellow Award for his outstanding performance. Sri Shanmugaratnam is one of the world's leading intellectuals. I would like to give you an example of the range and sweep of his ideas. Today, Singapore's economy depends a lot on transshipment. But if global warming melts the polar ice caps, new navigation routes may open and possibly reduce Singapore's relevance. I'm told he has already started thinking about this possibility and planning for it. Friends, the list of achievements and honors received by Sri Shanmugaratnam is long, but we are all eager to listen to him. Therefore, without further delay, it is with great pleasure that I welcome Sri Tharman Shanmugaratnam to the stage and request him to enlighten us on the subject of India in the global economy. Welcome.